So here's what everyone gets wrong about the mortgage versus investment debate. See, they think it's just about maths, but it's not. It's not just about whether your investments will beat your mortgage rate. For me, it's about making the government pay for this as much as possible. So my name's Saki Hussain, I'm the founder of financialeducation.co.uk and I've been supporting people for over 25 years on their finances. So in this video, we're going to show you how to turn this decision into a tax efficient strategy that's hopefully going to help you save thousands of pounds. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover ISA versus mortgage trade-off, when pension contributions trump everything else, and exactly how to structure your finances so HMRC, i.e. the government, end up contributing more to your wealth than you do. Right, let's talk about what you're actually getting when you're paying to a pension versus overpaying your mortgage. So basic rate taxpayers get 20% tax relief on their pension contributions, higher rate taxpayers get 40%, and additional rate taxpayers get 45%. So what does this mean? So if you're earning £60,000 and you put £1,000 into your pension, it costs you only £600. The government gives you £400 for free. Compare that to overpaying your mortgage. You pay £1,000 of your own money and save maybe 5% interest. So that's £50 versus a £400 upfront payment. See, the pension wins by miles. That's before we even talk about investment returns. But here's where people tend to mess up in my experience. They don't check if they're already maxing out their employer's match first. Basically what that means is, are they maximising the amount of pension contribution that the employer is prepared to pay on their behalf? Now, let's talk about ISAs, because this is where I think things get pretty interesting. See, everyone gets a £20,000 tax-free allowance each year, and any growth that you get within your ISA is tax-free. So there's no capital gains, there's no dividend tax, there's nothing to pay. See, on average, stocks and shares ISA over the last 5 years has returned between 6 and 7% on average. Your mortgage rate at the minute is probably around 5%. So mathematically, you're slightly ahead with the ISA. But that's before we start to factor in any tax savings. Because if you're paying 20% tax on your savings interest or 20% capital gains tax, the ISA wrapper becomes much more valuable. Plus, you can access money if you need it. So try getting money out of your house quickly. Good luck with that. Really, really difficult to do. Can take a while if you need to speak to your mortgage provider about getting some money out. So what the ISA does is it gives you flexibility your mortgage overpayment just doesn't. So here's exactly how to prioritise if you've got spare cash each month. So priority number 1, get your full employer pension match if you have one. So that's free money and an immediate 100% return if you get your pension contributions fully matched by your employer. Priority number 2, pay off any expensive debt like credit cards. See, anything over 6, 7, 8% interest beats everything else. Number 3, build an emergency fund in a cash ISA. So 3 to 6 months of expenses is typically what you want in an emergency fund, and try and find the best rate that you can. Priority number 4, so here's where it starts to get a little bit more tactical and a bit more nuanced. So if you're a higher rate taxpayer, max out your pension contributions up to £60,000 annually. If you're a basic rate taxpayer, split between pension contributions and the stocks and shares ISA. And priority number 5, only then do I think you should consider paying your mortgage and making overpayments. See, most people get this order completely wrong and lose out thousands in tax relief. Again, your personal circumstances might well be different, but in my personal opinion, this is what I would do and this is what I think works best. So if you're earning over £50,270, which makes you a higher taxpayer, listen to this, I think you might find it quite helpful. So you can claim back higher rate tax relief on your pension contributions. So that means for every £100 that you put in, it only actually costs you £60. The government are going to top it up with another 40. And on top of that, your investments are going to grow tax-free until you retire. And in fact, even through retirement, they'll continue to be invested tax-free. So plus, you might get employer contributions on top, something I mentioned earlier on in the video. So for most people, this is probably going to be the best deal. The annual allowance, which is the maximum you can put into a pension each year to get tax relief, is £60,000, and it is for the 2025-26 tax year. So if you're not using it all, you are leaving money on the table, in my opinion. You can even use something called carry forward, which allows you to go back 3 years and use up any unused allowances. So you can put in a lot more than £60,000. So if you've never maxed out your pension, you could potentially be contributing far more than the £60,000. And your mortgage overpayment will never give you a guaranteed 40% return up front. So first things first, go and check that you are maximising the contributions with your employer and make sure you get the most out of them. Now, there are specific situations where I think paying off your mortgage early does actually win. Now one of them is if you're approaching retirement and just want that guaranteed debt reduction. You just want the worry of paying the mortgage gone. Or if you're close to a loan to value threshold, that will help get you a better mortgage rate if you were able to pay off some of that mortgage. Or if you've already maxed out your pension contributions and your ISA allowance. Another one could be if you're paying a very high mortgage rate compared to what's available now. See, the thing is, if you just can't stomach investment risk, and the flip side to that is peace of mind. And that's what overpaying your mortgage can give you. But if you do want to overpay, you do need to check your mortgage terms first. So most lenders will allow you up to 10% overpayments each year without incurring a penalty, but it does differ from lender to lender. And if you do go over the minimum threshold, which is 10%, you might face an early repayment charge. And also, you've got to remember the money in your house is illiquid, which means you can't easily get the money back if you need it. And if you compare that to investments, such as in an ISA, where you can access the cash within days if you need to sell something. So do be conscious of that when you are thinking of whether to put overpay into the mortgage and how quickly you might need the money if you do need to get it back out again. Okay then, so here's what I think you should do with your spare cash. And again, I'll just caveat this by saying this is a personal opinion and your circumstances may well be very different, but this is just a starter for 10. So first of all, max out your employer pension contributions. Make sure you're maximising any match. So you're making sure that you're taking everything that they give you. That could potentially be 100% return on your money. Second, clear your expensive debt, certainly anything that's got a high interest rate attached to it. Third, build an emergency cash fund, and you can use a cash ISA to do that, and that gives you access to money if you need it in an emergency. Fourth, if you're a higher rate taxpayer, prioritise pension contributions for your 40% tax relief. Fifth, if you're a basic rate taxpayer, split your money between pensions and stocks and shares ISAs. Again, personal opinion, you may feel that it's better to put all your money into pension and get the additional tax relief in there. And the sixth option is only then do you consider overpaying your mortgage, in my opinion. So use your full £20,000 ISA allowance each year. You can't carry that forward. But remember, with your pension contributions, you can pay up to £60,000 depending on your earnings and get tax relief on that. And you can go back 3 years as well if you've got unused allowances. So if you do need any professional advice for mortgages, do speak to a qualified mortgage advisor. And for investment advice, do speak to a financial planner or a financial advisor, and they can look at your whole financial situation. See, the key thing for me is making the tax system work for you rather than against you. Because there's money in the system, you just need to access it.